Tim Murdoch.
And my name is Matt Emmert. That was really good, Tim.
I was possessed.
You tapped into your Reagan voice. And this is a very special episode because I'm a priest. No, because this is our 300th episode. And if you couldn't tell which movie we are discussing for this one, it is, Tim, do you want to say it in Reagan's voice?
Sure.
Say it.
The Exorcist.
Love it. And I am Father Karras, and Tim. I will be playing the part of Father Karras, and Tim will be playing the part of Reagan, if you couldn't tell. Now, just if you're wondering, what are you guys doing? This is a milestone episode for us, and our usual formula is when we do movie reviews, we're talking about something in the present that just came out, but for these big milestone episodes, we like to look at a movie that was like monumental in the horror genre. And the reason we picked The Exorcist for this is because if you've listened to even a handful of our interviews, I would say with 75% accuracy, when we asked the question, growing up, what were you into horror movies and which had the biggest impact on you? What is the answer we get, Tim?
The Exorcist.
Yes. We always joke that like it's going to be The Exorcist, it's going to be The Exorcist. And then we realized we have not done an episode devoted to The Exorcist. Now, first off, quick plug. If you do like hearing us talk about past movies, we do that on our Patreon, patreon.com/happyhorrortime. But we hadn't done The Exorcist, so we decided, you know what? Let's do an entire episode for our 300th on the impact of The Exorcist.
And what an impact. I mean, look at me.
What, like, the funny thing about this movie is that you can put on a nightgown and put some vomit on your face and some scars, and immediately everyone knows what you're referring to. Am I right, Tim?
Yes. And you know, I drove over to your house like this, not with the wig, but just normal makeup. No one blinked twice.
Because it's Los Angeles.
And it was Hollywood. People were just like, it's Sunday.
Now, what if I walked around like this? Do you think people would be like, oh, God, a priest, a priest, a priest?
Maybe.
I mean, the thing is that I got the much easier costume in this deal, I will say. But Tim, about 11 years ago, dressed up as Reagan for Halloween and looked phenomenal. So like you have to revise or reprise that role.
We'll dig up that picture of you and I that Halloween.
Now, I was not the priest. I've never dressed up as a priest for Halloween. You know why? Because it's too simple and I like going crazy for Halloween.
Well, the one costume that we always make fun of.
What?
Is people that have half Superman, half not Superman.
Oh.
And they're just like, it's like they have a white shirt and underneath they go like this.
Oh, I'm Clark Kent turning into Superman. I know.
It.
And the funny thing is that hot guys can usually pull it off.
So, I mean, I'm saying that, but don't get me wrong, I'll like it.
Exactly. Especially dressed like that.
I can't stop playing with my hair.
No,
it's not even real.
I can't. But even when I'm like wearing a suit or a tie, I rarely have it this, like it is a tight fit.
Can you breathe?
I can breathe, but it is a tight fit. Let me tell you, those priests have their jobs.
It's a reminder that they can't do stuff.
It's like, hey, you're on a leash. It really is like a leash. And the funniest part is I'm Jewish, so this is very foreign to me. We do not have priests.
And I'm a boy. And I'm also not possessed by the devil.
I think you are all the time. Yeah. But anyway, a couple things before we jump into The Exorcist. First off, our last episode 299, was a big one for us. We had Kevin Williamson, the director and co-writer of Scream 7, back on the podcast for the second time. And we got to sit down and have like an hour-long interview with him, in-depth, spoiler-filled, about everything related to Scream 7. So if you haven't checked that out yet, definitely watch it on YouTube. It was a really, really great time. And I think we both knew how big of a moment this was for Happy Horror Time, because the first time we had it on, we were excited, but like this time, especially with Scream 7 being like so prominent right now and him not doing a ton of shows, it was a big thing for us.
Yes, and if you listen, when I say the word fabulous, I think we were talking about Isabel May.
Yes.
I go, fabulous, because I'm sitting here with Kevin Williamson.
Kevin Williamson, it's a fabulous.
But I go, fabulous.
I mean, Isabel May is fabulous.
Right, but I mean, the way I delivered it was you'd think I was held at gunpoint.
You mean like on a leash like
Yeah,
this?
I was like,
I told Tim this. Like, I was very nervous before that interview. Hopefully it didn't show.
No,
because,
Matt, you did fantastic.
Well, so did you.
You
Thank
did
you.
fantastic.
Thank you. I thought, I think it was because I knew this was a big moment for us. And I knew there'd be a lot of people tuning in because it's Scream 7 and it's like in the news so much right now. But I felt really good about it. He was so warm and genuine, and you can tell how much he cares about this franchise. But at the same time, he understands that there are people that have different feelings on this movie, and he was very respectful of that when we asked him about the critic reviews and things. And I just hope personally he stays with this franchise, because I know he was sort of ambiguous about what his role would be moving forward, but I just think he's so integral to what we love about Scream, so I'm hoping he'll be.
Just remember, your favorite Scream queen, Jamie Lee Curtis, was like, H2O, and this is it. I cut off his head. We're done. Cut to 2018, you get a thrillology.
A thrill.
Yeah.
You just created a whole new word. Not a whole new world, but a whole new word.
Well, I'm possessed.
Yes. What if that was your excuse for everything? Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. You can never say never. And I have a feeling that even if Kevin's not involved in Scream 8 because they jump into production right away, he will 100% be an executive producer, and I bet they will find ways to work him in for future installments, because this shit ain't going away, Tim.
I hope not. I mean, listen, if The Exorcist can stick around for 51 years and counting, because people will say it's the scariest movie until Undertone came around. Am I right?
No. Well, what I do want to say is, now moving on to The Exorcist, let's really talk about the impact and why everyone we talk to on this show, not everyone, but so many people say The Exorcist is what had such an impact on him. This is my take on the situation.
Let's hear your take.
Few things. The majority of the people we interview on the show come from movies that were really popular in the 80s or sometimes early 90s. So they're all of a certain age, and they were probably teenagers when The Exorcist came out. So just like for us, we were teenagers when Scream came out. It had a huge impact on us because of the age you were and what was hot at the time and what was groundbreaking. So I think that's one of the reasons.
This movie's hot.
Hot. And the second reason is because The Exorcist is a really just strong, impactful movie. I mean, you cannot watch The Exorcist without feeling uncomfortable, unnerved, terrified, just like a little nauseated at scenes. And it was, remember, at a time when there wasn't an exorcism movie on every streaming service, there weren't many films before that were so focused on a demonic possession. Those are my thoughts on why. How about you, Tim? When did you first see The Exorcist?
I saw it on a hot summer day. I rented it with Pet Sematary. And I remember those films back to back really did a number on me, because I remember it was a summer day. And then after that, our electricity went out. And I remember we were talking to our next door neighbor at 3 a.m. because it was like when a electricity pops. It makes a loud sound. So, there was everything was just out, like our entire street. And I was like, what is I was like, and then I blamed Reagan. No, this film always leaves you. Like when you leave the theater or you leave wherever you're watching the film, it goes with you.
Oh, yeah,
like
it sticks with you when you leave.
Yes, you take this movie with you. I mean, obviously. But I mean, like it makes you think.
Yes.
And Linda Blair was interviewed, and she said many times she does not think of and even William Friedkin, he's the director.
Friedkin, yeah.
Friedkin has said it wasn't made as a horror film. It was made about questioning your faith.
And that is another thing about this movie that I found so impactful. Look, I mean, I grew up Jewish. I don't know a ton about the Catholic faith, other than I've had many friends who have been Catholic. But what I do know is that, like, exorcism, although it is like an actual practice, it's not like the Catholic Church still does it today, and still, like, you say someone's possessed, they go right to exorcism. And what I liked about this movie that I feel like a lot of modern movies don't do today is they show that the priests, when they hear about Reagan and what's going on, they don't immediately say, okay, let's get a priest in there, let's do an exorcism. And if anything, they're very skeptical. They talk about mental illness and actual scientific explanations.
No, because I remember one point in the movie, he's like, well, it's not schizophrenia or bipolar or what's the other one? Multiple personalities.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like, they're like, now that we've got names for this, you can't possibly be possessed.
Exactly, because it's almost an outdated way of thinking. But what I liked is that they had not just Chris McNeil doubting the demonic possession aspect, but the actual Father Karras is like, if you want an exorcism, you're gonna have to jump in a time machine. We don't do that anymore. And then she has to prove, no, this isn't just mental illness. Look at what's going on. One thing I did read, because I was reading up on this, and I know we both watched some documentaries on the making of The Exorcist.
I lived it, but go on.
Because you're possessed.
Yeah.
One thing I did read is that apparently in the novel, now the novel was written by William Peter Blatty, and what's confusing with this is the director is William Friedkin, so we have two Williams. Anyway, William Peter Blatty, who wrote the novel that The Exorcist was based off of, he also wrote the screenplay. He adapted his own book for the movie. But what I did read is that in the book, there's a lot more skepticism and almost ambiguity for a ton of time over whether it is possession or mental illness. But in the movie, because they did want to get right to like the horror of it, it's a little less ambiguous. Now, one thing I will say though is watching it, because we watched it again, we've seen it a ton of times, I do see that they're actually skeptical for a while until, like, literally, I mean, she's moving things in the room, her head's turning around.
I know, it was like, I mean, obviously, how much do people need to see? I mean, like, she went and met him in the park. But she met him in the park before he actually witnessed Reagan, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she's like going, oh my God, like, help me, somebody, please. And by the way, who would you say is the focus of this movie? It's not Reagan.
It's Chris McNeil.
Okay.
I think the movie is about there are multiple focuses. Reagan to me is a supporting character because she is the possessed one and the face that everybody knows.
Gorgeous face.
But this movie is about, I'd say, two people. Chris McNeil, a mother who is dealing with this with her kid, and Father Karras, me, who is a priest that is having a crisis of faith. Before he even gets involved in the exorcism, he's talking to other priests about he doesn't know if he believes enough and can be a priest anymore. He's also a psychiatrist for priests. So he's having his own crisis of faith. So the movie shows two different lives. Chris McNeil's life as an actress with her kid who's getting possessed, and this priest who gets pulled into this but already doesn't know how much he still believes. So it's just so well done. And now it makes me want to read the book because the book I know goes way in depth more into both of these characters, and I guess there's a lot of setup. In fact, I read that the book has a lot more about the staff that works for Chris McNeil because we didn't get much in the movie.
I thought that was interesting because I wasn't sure who the lady was.
Sharon is her name.
Is she an assistant? But you said she was a nanny.
I thought it could be both. I know that there's not a ton of info. Reagan does say, I was playing with Sharon today and we did this, so my thoughts were, okay, she's a nanny, but it looks like she also assists Chris on stuff, so she could be both.
So the actress, Ellen Bernstein, she's also an actress.
Burstyn.
Thank you. I'm possessed. I can't possibly pronounce things right. Yeah. She has the staff. She's got a chef.
I think it's more of a butler.
She's there's a butler, a nanny, and just
and then she has other people that I feel would be
a cleaning lady,
something like that. She's obviously rich.
Wow.
And the thing is, she is in Washington D.C. or Georgetown, specifically a neighborhood around D.C. because she is in a movie. So she is renting out that beautiful house. They don't live there full time, and also we find out that Reagan's dad is kind of estranged from the family. He doesn't even call on her birthday.
I am so curious about that relationship, the way she's talking. I need more of that. I want to see him, but I mean, obviously the movie has a running time of 2 hours.
And that's the problem. The thing is, that's another thing. They said they developed the character of the dad and his influence on Reagan in the book a little more because what they wanted to do, and again, this is just things I've heard and read, is they wanted to set up Reagan as this innocent girl who is the most vulnerable to possession. She's innocent. She doesn't have religious beliefs, and she's willing to just trust the Ouija board and play. She's very open to it.
You mean my good friend Captain Howdy?
Exactly.
And he is hilarious.
Let me tell you, talk about impact. Now, okay, this is something I don't know if I've ever talked about on this show, Tim, or I've alluded to this, but I used to have a Ouija board when I was a teenager. Yes. And I played it a lot with my friends. And I don't talk about it a lot because I feel like people would be very skeptical, which I'd be.
just as skeptical as those priests.
Okay. Well, Reagan, I had a lot of crazy shit happen. Two things I'm going to just mention really quickly. One thing I may have mentioned on the show before, but I was playing with friends of mine. We would have both people who had their hands on the Ouija board have their eyes closed so they couldn't, spell out words while they were looking, and we'd have someone else look. So we were talking to whatever, and it was moving, and we asked like if it was there. It says yes, whatever, and we asked for a sign. And it started spelling out the word B-A-N. And as it went to the G, we heard a loud gunshot. We were outside. It was nighttime. And it's like the gunshot ricocheted through the sky, and we didn't hear one dog bark. And the dogs in our neighborhood were very vocal. We immediately jumped from the board, ran inside. I told my parents. My mom was like, "Why are you doing that board?" We were terrified. Second story is I had a good friend of mine in high school who I used to always do the Ouija board with, Janie. And every time she touched it, it would move beyond belief very quickly. Now, one time we were doing the Ouija board and we were talking about, are we going to get a boyfriend or girlfriend? I was straight.
I like that game.
Yeah. And it kept trying to tell me that she had a crush on me. Now, this is something that we both laughed at because we were just friends. And like a year later,
I got married.
No, I found out that she told me later that she had a crush on me and she didn't want to tell me. Now, of course, skeptics could say maybe she was just using the Ouija board to tell you. I know this girl. She didn't want me to know. I didn't even find out till I went out to college. It was just weird things like that. We also had it spell out names that we had heard or come into contact with. Now, again, we would always close our eyes while we were doing it and have a third party watching, so we couldn't manipulate it. I don't know. It's crazy. Did you ever do the Ouija board?
We did, but my friends Suzanne and Lisa, hey girls, they took it so seriously, and sorry, this is in my face.
Reagan.
Reagan is trying to break through.
Yeah.
No, so my friend Neil and I, hey Neil, we were very skeptical. These girls were taking it dead seriously, and we were like, okay.
So, but did anything ever happen?
Or did it say in the girls' eyes, the whole world was, upside down. But Neil and I were like, nothing's happening.
Let me just say this. Do I 100% believe it? No. Do I have enough fear / belief that I get skeptical enough to not want to do it where I live to unleash anything crazy? Yes. Meaning I'm superstitious enough that I don't want to even play around with that shit. And that's what I think is scary because, of course, it's just a board game that's manufactured by Milton Bradley or Parker Brothers, but it's not the game that it is. It's the vulnerability and the wanting to let whatever this is in. And I think based on your beliefs and how you feel about that, you're probably either more susceptible or you are more skeptical. It just depends.
I am very happy that you and I watched this film during the daytime because I'm currently watching two dogs at a foreign house. So it's kind of scary. So I'm glad we didn't watch it at night because if you would have left and I would have been stuck at that house all by myself, I would have been really scared.
But I could have blessed it with my holy water, Tim. Look.
True, but you mean I'm already the devil's already inside me.
And look, I even have my rosary for today. I am prepared. Okay,
Thank
I would have
you.
blessed, or I'm going to bless you, Tim. Actually, you're too far gone. You're possessed. Okay,
I was vomiting all day.
Well, anyway, this movie had an impact on tons of. When it came out, obviously everyone's heard the stories of there were lines all around the block, even in freezing temperature. People were fainting during screenings, running out, throwing up, like everything very melodramatic. But at the same time, again, we get desensitized to violence with so many horror movies out there. In 73, this was a novel thing to see on screen. Even the language, the actions, having a 12-year-old girl masturbating with a crucifix while saying, "Let Jesus fuck you." You could get probably taken, thrown out of church forever for saying that.
Absolutely. My aunt always says, because I'm always talking about horror movies, she always says she slept with a baseball bat next to her bed after that movie.
Did she think she was going to, the spirit was going to show up in, human form and she was going to slam it?
Who knows? But, she didn't sleep with a baseball bat before The Exorcist.
It's so funny because for me, when I watch slasher films that really get to me, that's when I think, I need to sleep with a weapon. When it comes to, supernatural shit, I feel is a weapon even going to help, or am I going to get possessed?
It literally changed the movie going because I think it was 73 was The Exorcist. Well, I think it was December 26th. So I
It
think,
was.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically all of 74 was The Exorcist as
Yeah.
well. And then the next year, 75, was Jaws.
Yes. And then 78 was which movie, Tim?
No one cares about that film.
Halloween,
Not
the
a soul.
greatest slasher from ever. Okay, another thing about this movie is that obviously, like, I think they thought it was going to be too much for theater goers, and then obviously they went in and were seeing it, and it was making tons of money. But here's the craziest thing. It was nominated for, I think, something like 8 or 9 Academy Awards. It won Best Adapted Screenplay, William Peter Blatty, and I think it won Best Sound Design. This is before there was an Academy Award for Best Makeup. But I was like, okay, I want to look at the nominations, not just the wins. Ellen Burstyn, Linda Blair, and Jason Miller, who played Father Karras, were all nominated for Academy Awards. Now, again, this is a horror movie with explicit language, violence, effects, and it was totally honored at the Academy Awards, and even better, at the Golden Globes, it won Best Motion Picture Drama, and Linda Blair won Best Supporting Actress. That's huge.
For Golden Globes?
Golden Globes,
Oh,
yes.
that's amazing. I think, the stars were aligned with this movie. Like, you had the perfect storm of director, writer, actors. I mean, just everything was perfect. So, I mean, like, it doesn't happen very often. It's like a genie in a bottle.
It is Christina Aguilera. But, it's just, they always
true.
talk about horror movies don't get a ton of recognition at the Academy Awards, and that is correct. But before Jaws, before Silence of the Lambs, before, let me see, The Substance, like things like that, was The Exorcist that did get, of course, it didn't win Best Picture, but to be nominated, this film that I'm sure a lot of people was like, were just, wrote off because it was, too disgraceful to things, gets nominated and recognized, and apparently at the end of its box office run, now this is with a lot of re-releases, it made $441 million.
That's not including rentals, TV, DVD sales. I think it came back in 2000, and then obviously that's not accounted for as well. But remember that when it came out, the director's cut in 2000?
Yes, of course.
Did you
That's
go see
another
it?
thing. I didn't go see it, but so Jacob and I own the 4K version of this film, which again, I can't say enough about 4K versions of horror films. You can see so much. They're so clear. They're so vibrant, especially movies from 70s and 80s that were a little more gritty when they came out. But we also watched the director's cut version, and that includes the crab walk or the spider walk scene with Linda Blair. The crab walk. That's what I used to do in like aerobics class. Did you ever have to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not good at it.
No.
I mean, even when I'm possessed and I go down the stairs, like all the priests are laughing
No
at me.
one's good at the crab walk, but the spider walk, you're great at.
Yeah, I'm really good at that.
That scene, there's also an ending scene where Father Dwyer, he's at the end, talks to the detective about going to see a movie, which could have sparked a gay romance. We'll never know. And there's... I mean, there's another, I don't know which priest is talking to which priest, but like everyone in the 70s, like he has a tucked in red sweater, and it's like I'm not the gay police. I'm just saying they dressed very gay adjacent. The priests?
Yeah, like his friend. I don't know.
Wait, the priests were... Wait, you mean like dressed like this?
Not
That's
like
just
that.
their
Like
uniform.
sometimes when they're like out of uniform, it's like I would wear that. I'm not saying like you're gay. I'm not saying you're gay if you dress cute.
I just want to coin the word gay adjacent. I just love that.
Right.
First off, it was Father Dyer, not Father Dwyer. I got that wrong. But either way, and the other scene that was cut,
You're going to hell.
I know that was in the director's cut is there's a scene when Father Marin and Father Karras take a break from the big climactic exorcism, and talk about like why Reagan was possessed and everything. Anyway, all of these scenes in the director's cut, well, maybe not the ending, but the spider walk and the discussion between Father Marin and Father Karras are really great scenes. The ending part, I could give or take, but I'm just saying I recommend if you have not seen, they call it like the cut that was, what is it? It's the director's cut, but it's like the movie
cut
you've
never seen?
Something like that. I recommend seeing that because the spider walk scene alone is so fucking creepy.
Well, she never leaves the room in the original
The theatrical
version,
cut.
right?
No,
like she's always up there, just everyone's like, hey, you know what? Tired of the bed.
Yeah, but she does get out of the ties on her arms, but she never leaves the room until that spider walk scene. And the way she's walking down the stairs is just nuts because to witness your kid doing that, first off, I'd be like, bravo, you've got a career in gymnastics ahead
Well, I
of you.
think it actually was a gymnast.
Oh, yeah. Well, exactly. But secondly, it's just, again, we're talking about 1973 when we have not seen anything like this. And I was reading about the things they were doing to make this film. And I know we watched the documentary. And let me just say, like, there's a lot about William Friedkin, the director, where people do say he was sort of difficult. Now, you never know if when people say difficult, if they just mean he is so dedicated that he's demanding a lot. Either way, he was tough, but there was a lot of things they had to do, like to get the set so that you could see their breaths coming out. They refrigerated that
30
room
degrees.
to negative 30 degrees.
Oh, God.
And they could only film for a couple minutes at a time because as soon as they would turn on the lights, it would warm up the temperatures, and they wanted it to be freezing so you could see the breath and it wasn't fake. Now, in today's standards, you could do that in post-production, but back then he demanded that. Secondly, all the special effects, he had like contraptions to do them, like Reagan getting thrown back and forth in the bed. She had like some bodice around her that apparently caused her severe back problems.
Going into this film a little deeper, when the first time the bed is like this and going like that, why didn't she just move?
Who, Reagan or
everyone?
Chris? Oh,
everyone. Why did everyone not just leave that house?
Oh, you mean, well,
Beds don't do that.
Of course not. But I mean, I think what they've said in a ton of supernatural movies is it's not the house, it's the person. So it would follow them.
Okay.
Of course, they didn't say that in this one, but I remember like, was it Poltergeist or Poltergeist? It was the house. I'm not sure. Either way, there's a lot of movies where they move and the haunting still happens.
Right. Like, the term nip it in the bud?
Yes.
No one in this movie's nip it in the bud. Everyone's just kind of taking their time. They're like, first off, before we could do the exorcism, we have to make sure Reagan can speak other languages. I'm like, okay.
I mean, in the defense of the priests and the doctors, I don't know if your initial response to hearing that someone's doing crazy things is it's demonic possession. Like, obviously, you're going to think of science first and doctors, but of course, they exhaust everything. You know what? Let's just jump into this because there's so many incredible scenes. And the thing is, this movie, we're not going to be able to get through everything, but we can kind of take it in chunks.
Right. Okay. The first chunk is boring.
Okay, the opening is set in Iraq, and we're introduced to Father Marin, who is played by Max von Sydow. And apparently they had to age him like 30 or 40 years for this role,
and,
right?
He's such a good looking guy. It's so interesting because, was there a shortage of old men in Hollywood? Like, why were they like, hey, let's get this young guy and age him?
I read that they thought he had the look of the sort of priest they wanted, but they wanted him to be like a lot older and wiser. But I mean, who knows? I don't want to jump into ageism in Hollywood.
That's all I want to talk about.
Okay, let's just talk about that.
Because when I audition for a 21-year-old, I better get it.
I mean, like, you also have to be convincing.
Well, okay.
I mean, look at you. That's it. The thing about him is that what I do agree that it's like they couldn't have found an older actor who could have done this well, but his performance is great. And what I will say is until you told me that he was in his 40s, I thought he literally was in his 70s.
Me
because
too.
The makeup is so good in this.
It's like a Hollywood secret. I mean, actually, the secret's out.
Yeah. It's like a Hollywood secret, except that every documentary
talks
about it.
But I mean, like, because this movie has been so dissected, like, I don't know if there's anything really left. I mean, like, the director, William Friedkin, have you ever seen his excitement talking about the movie? I love it. It's contagious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, considering how much time and thought and just how he put so much into this film, I'd be excited about it too.
Me too.
And it was rewarded with actual awards and box office results. But anyway, the opening is in Iraq, and we are introduced to Father Marin, and he's doing an archaeological dig, and he finds this weird little statue thing, and they don't explain it, but you can tell that that it's related to some sort of demon, and that it's called Pazuzu. And like, he also sees a life-size statue of the little one he found, and like dogs are barking and stuff. A clock stops. So it's almost like it's very ominous, like something bad is happening.
It's actually, I did say it was boring, but it also creates an authentic world that I actually believe.
Yeah.
So like, obviously, does he take that little
statue?
Yeah.
With the
Does
little
he
thing?
take it back?
I think
because
so.
it ends up at the bottom of that staircase.
Okay, so I did a little deep dive.
Thank
you ready?
you for doing it.
I didn't know either because later the detective finds a little statue at the bottom of those stairs, and I thought it was the Pazuzu thing. Apparently, that has been debunked. That's a little animal statue that Reagan, in her room, she makes little statues. So it's supposed to be like a callback.
Are we supposed to know that?
But it's not the same statue. It'd be too far-fetched for that exact statue to have shown up at that exact stairwell.
When did she ever make little statues during the
Apparently,
movie?
they were in the room. Remember, this is like on boards where people are studying everything from frame by frame. And apparently, she liked to make little animal statues, something like that.
Listen, you know who made it? You know who made it?
Who?
Howdy Doody.
Captain Howdy.
Oh, that's right.
Howdy Doody was a totally different character. Howdy Doody.
That's what I meant.
It was totally Howdy Doody.
I think the devil's here.
I think the devil's inside you.
I hope so.
You would know. Anyway, okay, so we don't get a ton of backstory. One thing I did hear about the novel is that you do get more backstory. Apparently, Father Merrin had done an exorcism in the past and had dealt with this demon in the past. So him finding this like statue, it's almost like, oh my God, it's happening again. What I want to do is I want to see the prequel of what happened before Reagan and the first time Father Merrin had to, or actually, did they make a prequel to The Exorcist? I feel like there's been so many spinoffs.
I know there's The Heretic.
Well, that's the sequel, but
No,
did they ever do a prequel?
Right. You know what? I've seen them all.
Wasn't there a TV show called Exorcist the Beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
And do you remember we also saw The Exorcist play starring Brooke Shields?
We did see The Exorcist play. And did you ever see Repossessed starring Linda Blair, the comedy?
Opening day to an empty theater. It was empty.
I saw it on like HBO. I love that there's so many spinoffs. Anyway, okay, moving forward, we're introduced to our main characters in Georgetown. We get Ellen Burstyn playing Chris McNeil. She's an actress. She has his daughter, 12-year-old daughter, Reagan. And first, the dynamic is very much like she's kind of single parenting. She's there for a movie. She's a movie star. She looks great.
I have mixed feelings about her because, like, you know, there's like people doing her hair and her makeup, and she's like, get off me.
Yeah.
And like, so she's a little mean there.
Little diva.
A little diva-ish.
Yeah.
And then there's just something about her that rubs me the wrong way, but then I love her.
The way she kind of talks to the staff, like she's trying to tell the staff that there's rats, and the guy, I think the butler, is like, no, it's clean. And she's like, there's rats there. Don't you dare. No, she doesn't say that.
Don't you question me. I'm an actress.
I know. And poor Reagan, like, I think just has to stay home and play with the help all day. But we're introduced, you know, Reagan tells her mom.
Well, she likes to play in the basement. And by the way, when we were watching, I'm really, really surprised that all the action is in the upstairs bedroom. Like, basements are scary. And why did no one went down to the basement to be like, oh, this is where Captain Howdy originated and possessed Reagan? We don't know.
Yes, but there is no spot that you think you want to be safe.
Table.
There's no spot that you want to be safer than your bedroom. And a lot of the stuff happens at night. So she's not going to be in the basement. She's in her bed. Right, I actually think that makes it more realistic. You're
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, but wouldn't it be just a scene where like Reagan like runs down to the basement and then someone's like, is Reagan in the basement?
I mean, if they wanted to go for like jump scares and things, but they do have that scene in the attic where Chris is going through with her, what is it? Like a candle. I know. It's like it's 1800s.
Like she's like in a haunted house.
And then the flame goes.
Well, also, like, what was that line from Scream 3? Parker Posey says, she goes, oh, I don't like basements.
Yeah. You got it. That's a good, okay. Anyway, what Reagan tells her is she says that she found this Ouija board and she's telling her mom how she uses it to talk to Captain Howdy. And one thing that right away I'd be like, get rid of this shit. When
it moves.
Yes, when she tries to show her mom, the little piece moves and like Chris looks at her like, what the fuck was that? And then they don't talk about that. Right away, I'd be like, throw it away.
Right. Like the mom's like, oh, am I not going to be able to play? I'm like, oh, okay, wait. Let's just stop everything. Your daughter just made something move. She's telekinetic.
Well, so right now, if you're watching this, like I have a mouse that you can't see that's off screen because we have a computer screen here if we have to get notes or like, you know, facts about the movie real quick. If this mouse down here, this one right here, just got up and moved him, I'd jump out your window. I don't need any other examples that something fucked up is going on. That's all I need.
But I would hope before I jump out the window, you'd grab onto my nightgown and then say, take me.
Well, first I would punch you a few times like he does in the movie.
Yes.
Then you would have to rip the medallion I'm not wearing off. Then I would say, take me.
Right.
And I would jump out.
And then the mom at the end will, as they're driving away, she goes, here, take this. I don't like fake jewelry.
I don't like jewelry. Yeah. Here, take it, priest. And she throws
this toy jewelry
in the face. Anyway, so, you know, we slowly are introduced also to Father Karras. Karras, who's again this priest, has this crisis of faith. He has a relationship with his mom, who loves to call him Dime. Dime.
First off, that whole mom in like his guilt and everything, very, very sad. All these years I thought it was Jimmy.
You thought she was saying Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy. She's saying Dimi because his name is Damien.
But what if she said Timmy?
What if she said, Timmy, go get me something, Timmy? It's very sad because his mom gets put in an institution because apparently they don't have money to like get actual doctors and pay for that. She gets put in an institution and she is so upset at her son for leaving her there. She just dies. And he has a ton of guilt from that. Like the last time he sees her, she doesn't even want to talk to him. No, Dimi, no. No, Dimi. No.
One thing this movie does is it has certain scenes that we don't get to see. Like we don't get to see him have the death of his mother. And the other scene that we don't see is when the director is thrown out the window of Reagan's bedroom. And they talk about these things throughout the entire movie. But we as the viewer, we don't get to see him. You know what we do get to see?
What?
Vomiting.
Demi.
And Demi.
Okay, so when we start the first big scene, because Reagan, the first scene when she's like really something's up is that Chris has a big party at her place with her director and her friends and one of the priests, Father Dyer. And as they're having a gay old time at the piano.
I love her blue dress, by the way.
And I love that her hair's up to here. Gay old time at the piano. They're playing like Broadway hits or whatever. Reagan comes down in her nightgown and says, "You're going to die up there." And then just pisses on the floor.
And the mom's like, "Oh, she hasn't been feeling good lately. Let's go upstairs."
I love it. And they're all, my favorite is the expression on everyone's faces. They're like this. Tim, look.
Ooh, gosh. Way to wreck a party.
Yeah, wow. Party's over. As soon as someone pisses on the floor, the party's over.
Her delivery was scary enough.
Really good. And this is before.
I mean, my delivery.
Oh, yes, of course. This is before they fucked with her voice with techniques and that other voice actress. It's just very ominous. And it's like, everyone's terrified. And later, more and more things happen. Like the bed starts shaking in Reagan's room. And Chris, the mom, gets on the bed and feels it shaking. So when they take Reagan to doctors and they're doing all these tests, they're trying to explain to her, oh, she could have something in the brain. It causes these what's the word that I'm doing when you just start seizures and things like that. And she's like, no. The bed was shaking, not my daughter, the bed. And right away, that should have been enough.
They couldn't differentiate. They're like, okay, well, clearly the daughter's doing it. But all of the hospital scenes in this film are very disturbing because first off, the mom, the actress, smoking. And I think the doctor's smoking. Everyone's smoking.
The priests are smoking and drinking.
And then they're like, okay, well, let's lay her down and like shove this huge needle up her neck and have blood go everywhere. And you know what? You and I were cringing.
I was cringing.
Cringing in like a way that's like, ooh, this is scary. Not cringing like this movie's bad. We were like, wow, this movie still holds up. Yeah.
Okay, so apparently I looked this up. It's called a cerebral angiography. And it's kind of an outdated procedure, I think, but they had never shown something like this on screen. And I can tell you, even watching a 53-year-old film with this scene, I felt uncomfortable. They're putting a needle in her neck. She's wincing for pain. Blood's coming out. It is so, and apparently at the time it was pretty medically accurate how they were doing it. Obviously they didn't do that to Linda Blair, but it was really making apparently audience members, that's when they fainted or threw up and they just couldn't take this. But talk about effective. This is what I want to say. We have like movies like Terrifier or The Human Centipede nowadays,
which are true stories.
And they take violence to such an extreme level that sometimes they can cause you to feel like nauseous and stuff. But it's so extreme and ridiculous that I find it a little more comedic than effective. Whereas something like this, a very simple medical procedure shown in detail, can really have an impact on you.
I totally agree. All these years later, you and I were just... I
had to look away. I cannot see, like, because even though I know it's fake, I'm thinking about, oh my God, what if someone did that to me? There's blood. I'm also, okay, question for you, Tim.
Yes.
I'm good with needles, but I can't watch a needle going into me or blood coming out of me. I have to look away or I just get so uncomfortable.
Same. I will not watch it.
I can't watch it. And every time I'm giving blood, doctor's always like, are you okay? Because I'm turned. And I say, oh yeah, I'm okay. I just can't look at it. So get out of my face. And then I punch the doctor.
Right. Well, it has to be done.
It has to be done, but I'm just saying I don't want to look at it, which is why on screen, and if you're watching this now and like, you love horror movies, yes, because I'm watching things that A, I haven't experienced, and B, I can put out of my mind like, oh, I don't have to see this, or probably, hopefully won't happen to me.
It's a misconception for horror films. People are like if someone does cut themselves or fall down on their knee or whatever, people are like, oh, I thought you liked this stuff.
You like horror. You like watching people suffer.
I like it on a screen. I don't like it live.
I like entertainment. I like the scares. I like the chases. I like the quick kills, but I don't like seeing people suffer.
The score, and that's another thing we need to talk about. The score that they only use for walking down the street.
Yes, it's called Tubular Bells, and apparently it was an album that had just come out that year, and William Friedkin really loved it. What I love is it is such a great haunting theme, but they only play it once in the movie when Chris is like walking on the street. And you told me, I can't believe I didn't catch this in prior viewings, that scene when they're playing Tubular Bells, it's Halloween because there's kids dressed up. And
you
right
never
away,
knew that?
If it's Halloween in a movie, I love it.
But you didn't. But prior to yesterday's screening, when we sat down and watched it, you did not know it was Halloween.
Okay, so obviously, when I see kids dressed up running, I know it's Halloween. But I guess it never stuck with me enough to remember.
It's minute.
It is minute. It is so short. So if you ask me, does The Exorcist take place on Halloween? I wouldn't have remembered because, of all the things I remember about the movie, that's not one of them.
And it's almost like they're like blurred. Like she's smiling and holding a leaf and she's walking and, it's
Their
interesting that
hat.
it's like nature has brought her and the priest together. So I always thought they were going to date.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's possible. I took a vow of celibacy, Tim. Never having sex, especially not with men. Okay. So as she's having Reagan tested by every doctor and they're finding nothing and getting really desperate for different explanations, she brings a psychologist to her house. And this is when Reagan starts to really get possessed, speaking differently, grabs the psychologist by the balls, throws him down, is doing
the devil
crazy
is
shit.
Foul.
Crazy shit.
He makes me do weird things.
And this is when the movie really kicks into high gear in terms of the horror and the possession, because when this is when not only they have Reagan thrashing around, this is when they have the scene when she slaps her mom, and probably one of the most uncomfortable scenes when she's masturbating with the crucifix, blood's going everywhere, and she's saying, "Let Jesus fuck you." I mean, that is so obscene, but so effective, you know?
And then first off, if you watch all the documentaries and everything, when Ellen I'm not going to say that. Thank you. When she gets pulled back, she goes, "Hey, be a little don't hurt my back." And so then
she said that to the director,
right? And the director
then
whips her back, and apparently she had to use crutches because it was too rough.
Yeah, apparently, I mean, the director was very committed to doing things the way he wanted to.
He wanted authentic performances, and I think the actors, both the priest and the actress. Like the way I said that.
I am having trouble following you. You're so all over the place.
No, but those two actors have said hey, don't surprise us with loud noises or throwing us onto the ground. Let us do our job.
Yeah, and they didn't. What Tim's referring to specifically is with the priest, Father Karras, when there's a scene where he gets really surprised and turns, apparently William Friedkin shot a gun near him to get an authentic, shocked, surprised response. And he got pissed off because he's like, I can do that acting wise. You don't need to put a fucking gun in my face.
I think that's where the director, his excitement doesn't always translate to working well with others.
Exactly. And the thing is, that's the thing. I would say trust your actors to try to give you the performance before you resort to those types of measures. With Ellen Burstyn, yes, when Reagan slaps her and she goes flying across, they pulled her so strongly, and back so quickly that she was injured, very injured, and she wasn't happy about it because she'd actually said before they did that, "Please don't pull me so hard," and they pulled her just as hard. Another thing in the documentary that you learned at the very end, where Father Dyer is holding Father Karras' hand after he's jumped out and he's almost dead at the bottom of the stairs, and he says, and he's trying to hold his friend's hand and say, "Let me deliver. Do you want to confess anything?" Apparently, he didn't look scared and sad enough. So William Friedkin, right before they said action, slapped him across the face so he would be all shaky. That's pretty intense.
I do not like that.
No, I don't think that is something. In fact, I feel like in today's standards, you could probably like, I don't know.
That's like someone coming up to you and saying, "Hey, you're fired." Like, you're like, "Oh God!"
Like to scare you enough. Yeah. So there's a lot of that in the film, but like there is a lot of really effective scenes, and there's other. One big thing is, speaking of the scene that Tim said they don't show you, is that, so we don't see a lot of him, but Chris McNeil's director named Burke, he's a little bit of a drunk. He's kind of very outspoken, and apparently when Sharon, the nanny, had to leave for a second, he was watching Reagan, and when Chris gets home, she finds out that Burke was murdered, or sorry, they think he just jumped out the window to his death. Chris realizes, oh my God, he was watching Reagan, and apparently the detective tells her that his head was turned all the way around, which is not something that would happen from a fall. Can I tell you something that I feel dumb that I just realized, but I did? Okay. A very famous scene, obviously, Reagan, when she's possessed, her head turns all the way around.
Right.
And she says the line, "Do you know what she did, your cunting daughter?"
Right.
First off, she's impersonating Burke, but I didn't put it together that her head turned around before saying this because that's what she did to Burke.
Yeah, and
I didn't even think of that.
And I like that you like to watch films with the words. What's that
subtitle?
Called? Yes, thank you. Because it really helps me out a lot because I noticed things that I didn't notice 50 years ago.
50 years ago, you weren't alive.
In 1973, and I bought my ticket for how much were tickets in 1973? Tim, I don't know.
$1.50. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't think, oh my God, the demon is taunting her. I guess I just thought, okay, the demon's head is turning around just to show you it's, Reagan's possessed. I didn't get, no, it's actually taunting her with what she did to Burke before she threw him out.
The devil's telling a story.
It's just like, everything was well thought out, but that is great. There are so many iconic lines, but Burke is dead.
But one thing that always like blows my mind is that little Reagan's like, are you gonna like date Burke?
Oh yeah.
Gross.
Well, I never got, again, maybe this is something that was in the book that wasn't explored as well. I just got the fact that they were friends. I never got a romantic connection between them. I know, it's like, ew,
don't marry him.
But speaking of the actor who played Burke, I mean, you've heard about all the stuff about this movie having weird occurrences. Apparently he died of influenza, the flu, right after he finished filming his scenes before the movie even came out. Now, again, shit happens, and it doesn't mean that the film is possessed, but a ton of shit happened on this. Apparently, there were a lot of deaths, and I know you've heard the crazy thing about the technician in the medical scene later was found guilty of murdering like a journalist, and they suspect that he may have killed a lot of gay men that inspired the movie Cruising, that he may have been the killer of that. There's a ton of story on that.
I didn't see that in the documentary rewatched, but I have heard of that. And like, what is small, crazy world?
But I mean, again, a lot of this is probably coincidence. Doesn't mean the movie was cursed, but there were fires on sets. A lot of people's relatives died. I mean, like crazy shit.
I mean, things might happen during Burlesque, the movie Burlesque, but they're not going to be like, oh, it's cursed.
Of course not. When it happens during a horror movie like this, especially a groundbreaking one that was new for its time. Nowadays, there's so many of these. If anything bad happens, they're not going to be like it's cursed. It's just one in a million.
I think everyone's trying to
associate things with this.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, same with the movie Poltergeist. I think everything is sadly not just, but it's a coincidence.
I mean, it's like, I guess the way I look at it is that, and this is a really dark thought, but I'm just going to say it.
Give it to
there
me.
are a number of people that are going to die young and die of horrible accidents, get murdered, die way before their time of illnesses. And just as it affects everyday people, it's going to affect random actors and Hollywood people too. So do we associate that to something related to the movie? Who knows? It depends, case by case. Anyway.
Right. No, but I think I don't even know if I should say this out loud. It's so funny to
even look at you like this.
I know. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm shy. Is that like this movie? I mean, people say like, oh, it's the portal to hell. Don't even watch this movie. I find that so fascinating because it's like, not to get like, it's art. It's a form of like,
of course.
It's art.
To be honest, when people say a movie or music or a video game is the portal to hell, it's done for entertainment purposes.
I'm entertained.
All of the things that were happening in this movie didn't really happen. They were effects and things they were doing. If you want a real portal to hell, it's probably actual Satanists and people that are really, truly doing really awful things, not people doing them for the story, for a movie, for entertainment value. It's crazy, but people speak up about stuff.
Another thing we noticed watching the film is how it has so many quick cuts.
Yes.
Like it has like a scene and we're like, oh, where's this going? And then it stops. It's like, okay, now show the father running, or quickly we're back at the hospital. Like it's a very interesting, like I had to get used to the rhythm of this 1973 film.
Yeah, my one, I don't even want to say issue, but look, I don't think this is a perfect film.
Issues.
I have issues with it because I love this film. I don't think it's perfect. One thing that I think was a little odd that, again, we noticed in this watch is that for a movie with an hour and like 55-minute runtime, it moves really quickly. But I think that's because there's a lot of scenes just when I'm getting to really being into it, they cut and move to a different scene. Like I'm seeing Reagan do something crazy and then it cuts to a different scene. And it's like, I want more, but I also know, and I read William Friedkin, they were like, it has to be under 2 hours. So I get it. I get that we can't spend so long on this possession scene.
I wonder if the movie would still be popular in 1973 if it was 3 hours.
Oh,
Everyone would be like, no. I'm checked out.
Exactly.
A couple of my favorite scenes is when the mom is talking to, I want to say, an operator on the phone. Who's she talking to?
I think an operator to connect with the husband.
Losing her mind.
Yes.
And then when the other scene I like, and these like have nothing to do with like the possession or anything. It's just a tiny scene is when the detective is like asked for her autograph and she goes, oh, where's the pencil? And he goes, oh, it's for me. And
it's not for my daughter.
Yeah. I saw your movie 6 times.
I shot him 6 times.
No, because Halloween stole that from The Exorcist.
They totally did.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the big exorcism because this is the major, probably the most iconic parts of this film because basically Chris McNeil has exhausted all her medical possibilities to explain or help Reagan, and even she, being someone who has no religious faith, is like, I need to try anything, and she goes to Father Karras, and that's when they have the discussion about what's going on, and he's very skeptical, but he goes to see Reagan, and the first part, when he sees her, she proceeds to do tons of things. First off, she, while possessed by Pazuzu, loves to taunt him about his dead mother. My favorite line of this movie, and I know you know what it is your mother sucks cocks in hell. And can I tell you why, Tim?
Tell me.
Because, first off, I love a good vulgar line, but this is why. Not only is she saying your mother's in hell, but she's sucking cock in hell.
And also,
it's so degrading.
They also use the F word, which I'm not going to say here.
Oh, it's so awful, the F word. Yes.
Don't say it.
Wait, she says, when, I mean, she says fuck a lot.
Not the fuck. She says a gay derogatory term.
Oh, that F word.
Which I totally forgot about.
Yes. But she is doing everything she can to
foul.
taunt, Father Karras. And she also, this is the big vomit green pea soup in his face. Now, what I read and heard in the documentary is that they told Jason Miller it was going to hit his chest and then it hit his face, and they used that take and he was pissed. Again, they wanted to surprise him. They wanted an authentic reaction. They had this whole contraption that it was in her mouth and shot it out. And
it's really effective. And the other guy was a little more lucky. Max von's he's wearing glasses, so it kind of misses his eye.
Yeah, because she's got a lot of vomit in her. But anyway, we get a lot of crazy stuff, and she's also speaking in what sounds like a different language, and they find out it's like English in reverse.
Oh,
but yeah,
we need to talk about the lady that is the voice of her. She apparently was smoking and drinking to get that voice. And then they were like, she was like, I don't want my name on the film because I want it to be a mystery. And they're like, okay, we're putting your name on the film. And then she's like, wasn't there some kind of craziness behind that?
Mercedes McCambridge did the voice. And in the documentary, you can hear the voice in her because apparently they first just tried to distort Linda Blair's voice, but William Friedkin didn't love it. And he's like, she's a voice actor. She can do this. But yeah, she was eating raw eggs. She was smoking. She was drinking. And that's how she got that crazy voice, but it is so effective.
It's a perfect day for an exorcism.
I don't know all the story behind like the credit in that, but it was very effective and things. And there's also Eileen Dietz who it was like a stunt double for Linda Blair, and she did a lot of like the pivotal scenes that needed like more strength or that they couldn't keep Linda Blair for. They were so disturbing they didn't want a child doing, like the crucifix masturbation scene.
Or like he grabs her, throws her on the floor. I mean, she didn't get punched, but still.
It's a lot of craziness. Yeah.
Up.
So finally, Father Karras goes to like his head priest and they approve an exorcism, but they say, you can't do it. We need to get someone who has experience in this. And that's when they get Father Marin. And Father Marin, who again was in that opening scene in Iraq, and then we literally don't see him for the entire movie.
He was so busy.
You know what I think is funny, and we talked about this before? they named this movie. This movie isn't called Reagan's Possession or A Night in Georgetown. It is called The Exorcist. And they are referring to Father Merrin. Yet he's such a supportive character. He's only in the beginning and then he comes in at the end.
He's the only one that can solve this problem. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, think about it. What if they just called it Reagan? Like, would we still like it?
Well, people would think it's about the past president who
Or-
wasn't
right.
president
Or
at
what
that
if it
time.
was called, like, Little Girl Gone Bad?
I think that's what it should have been called. There it is, guys. Little Girl Gone Bad, Academy Award nominated film.
Best picture.
Yeah, so Father Merrin, the iconic shot of this movie when he gets out of the cab in that foggy, like lit scene where there's a spotlight coming from Reagan's window and it's on the poster and it is like such an artistic, visually incredible shot. And, you know, like it just sets the scene. It's so ominous. It's creepy. And that is The Exorcist,
And
you know?
they didn't even play the little music that, you know, and I think it was no music.
It was no music. A lot of times, I mean, there is a score, but like it's not like Halloween where you're hearing it throughout. You only hear little bits and things. But when he arrives,
I think they could have played
they
it.
could have played a little bit more music, probably. But, you know, when he and Father Karras first start doing the exorcism, I mean, Reagan is pulling all the tricks. But what Father Merrin warns Father Karras is do not engage with the demon. He will try to, you know, get rid of your focus and everything. And the thing is, I think Pazuzu, the demon, knows that Father Merrin is a professional, and notice that the demon doesn't taunt him so much, goes right for Father Karras, right where it hurts. It's always about the mother and the guilt, and she even impersonates the mother. Demi, why you leave me there, Demi?
I know, and like...
But it's so smart because...
It is smart because guilt is a very powerful weapon.
And let me just tell you, if we were dealing with evil in whatever form it was...
You are.
It would... I'm sitting right next to it.
That's right.
You would prey on the insecurities and the worst parts of people that they feel most vulnerable about. So it was so genius that the demon is totally preying on poor Father Karras. And finally, Father Karras cannot contain himself and starts arguing with her. I love that you argue with a demon.
yeah, he's like, you're going to lose.
Yeah, and Father Merrin's like, you need a break, get out of here. And that's when, talk about a scene that I would like to see, or we don't see what happens, but when Father Karras comes back in, Father Merrin is dead.
I know.
Heart attack, dead.
The Exorcist.
And the Exorcist is dead. And Reagan is just sitting there, no restraints, do
She's
the
like,
thing.
Okay.
She's just giggling like she is just sitting there like, and that's when Father Karras loses it and starts beating the shit out of her.
I love it, but it's also disturbing.
It's disturbing because it's
This
like
is a child.
obviously it's a child, but like what is
The
manifesting, it's not a child. He's beating the kid, but that's when he starts saying, "Take me," but. He's wearing this medallion, which I don't know exactly the religious significance, but when she rips it off him, that's
happens.
when the demon is able to possess him. And you see for a moment, like his eyes turn green and like it's in him and he's trying to fight it off. And with these last few moments of like humanity, he knows that he needs to sacrifice himself and he jumps out the window and tumbles down the stairs to his death.
And, you know, not to brag or anything, I've walked those steps.
Yes. Wait, tell us about, so you visited Georgetown.
I did. My brother lived in Georgetown for like a minute and we went to those steps and there was crowded. Everyone was taking pictures.
Oh my God. You know what I didn't even, wait, let me just rewind a second because one of the most iconic parts of this exorcism is when that both Father Merrin and Father Karras he has the rosary and he's doing holy water and he's saying, the power of Christ compels you.
Over and
the
over.
power of Christ compels you. Do it with me, Tim. The power of Christ compels you. One more time. The power of Christ compels you. Let's add a little beat. The power of Christ compels you. What? The power.
Your poor neighbors. Your poor neighbors.
I live in a house. They
I know.
can't hear this.
They
So we're not
might.
an apartment.
They might.
Anyway, that scene is so iconic because not only do they, someone's got to count. How many times do you think they say the power of Christ compels you?
I'm going to say 12.
I'm going to go with 15. Was there an over
Let
under?
us know in the
Let us know in the
comments.
comments. I want to know. Yeah. And I also want a remix for it. I just want to dance to it. But okay, back to him diving out the window. In the documentary, what we found out is that first off, that wasn't Jason Miller. It was a stunt guy, but they apparently like put a layer of rubber on the stairs so that stuntman could really do that fall.
Oh, if you ever get to see the interview with the actual stuntman, he's so sweet. Like they were having a dedication to the stairs, and he's like, I didn't want to steal any thunder away from the director. I thought that was sweet.
It is very sweet, but it's such an iconic thing because first off, those stairs I would love to visit. Secondly, poor Father Karras is like bloody at the bottom of the stairs. That's when he's dying. That's when Father Dyer, the other priest, got slapped in the face so he could be shaky and everything. But Reagan is now okay because the demon went into Father Karras and he killed himself. So, she starts just like crying, mother.
And the mom, I love when she walks in because she's still kind of reluctant. She goes, hey, last time I was here, it wasn't so great. So she's
threw me across the room, bitch.
So she's like, okay, I think it's clear. This is my daughter.
Yeah. And we, quick cut as many are. It's I don't know if it's the next day or time later. They are leaving this house,
well, her
moving
face
away.
Has cleared up like from all the scars. I mean, like my face right now needs some
looks
Botox.
Beautiful. You could still see some scars. Reagan is back to normal, but there is one nice thing because Father Dyer is going to talk with them and, asking how she is. And Chris says she doesn't remember anything, which is probably for the best or her whole life would be traumatized. But Reagan, something in her when she sees the priest, like moves her to kiss him on the cheek and then they're going to date. No.
Right.
I think it was like she almost realized, even though she can't remember what happened, that the priest and religion or something has helped her. And then they kind of drive off, but before they drive off, she gives the medallion that Father Karras was wearing back to Father Dyer, and they have this part where Father Dyer's kind of like just walking by the steps, and then it just sort of ends.
Yeah, it's like he looks up at the window, which is now has like boarded up, and then he's like, "Oh, the stairs."
He goes,
that was a time.
Now, in the director's cut, he sees the detective, and they're kind of talking, and then the detective asks him if he wants to go see a movie, and then they start dating.
Right, it's all just one great big movie, Sid.
Yeah, but it's all just one great big movie. But anyway, that is The Exorcist. It's just so incredibly effective. And the thing is one thing I will say about this movie for me is that I don't think I fully appreciated it when I saw it as a kid. I actually thought the Iraq opening was sort of slow and boring as a kid. I didn't catch all the little things and the specifics and the reasons why it's so effective that I catch as an adult. Yet, it still scared the shit out of me.
Right. No, I totally agree. And like, again, I bitch, moan, and complain about that opening, but it does create an authentic world, which I'm like, okay, maybe there is a world where the devil is.
Lives and also it sets up the scene, and what you need's an opening with Father Marin to show that A, he is kind of the authority on like fighting evil, and B, something is coming. Like he finds the statue, he finds the little thing, he goes in front of the statue, the clock stops. Like these little ominous things are like evil is being unleashed, and we'll see how. I will say, I think all the performances in this movie are great, but I truly think Ellen Burstyn is incredible in this role.
And Linda Blair, everyone.
Everyone's good, really good, but Ellen Burstyn, just for me, is like on a level above everyone else just because she looks so affected. I'm trying to think of, obviously I don't have kids, but I'm thinking of a mother seeing her daughter in that state, not just suffering and injuring herself, but also not unable to help her. There's
helpless.
There's something about when there's someone you love and you cannot help them that has to be the worst feeling in the world.
Jason Miller, that's the priest, right? That's you?
Yes.
Okay, so he's dealing with his own mom issues.
Yes.
So there's that comparison. And did you know Jason Miller's son, I'm not sure, I wrote the movie The Final Girls in 2015, which also like is a girl whose mother died in that movie Camp Bloodbath.
That
right?
is, yes.
So everything is about the dynamic with your parents.
I didn't know that about Jason Miller or the lineage. It's unfortunate that Ellen Burstyn is still alive. She's in her 90s.
Yeah, and she did the last
Exorcist Believer.
So
Yeah,
did Linda Blair.
Don't get
I just
started.
gave it away.
Yeah, I know. But Linda Blair is still alive doing conventions.
And if you can, donate to her, not children. Donate
her
to
children.
her. Well, I mean, pets are like children, but like she has a big
animal charity.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I was like, we'll get it out.
The devil's inside of me. I can't possibly think.
He's been inside of you for a while.
Yeah,
am I right?
I like it.
But what I was trying to say is that unfortunately, a lot of people that were involved in this movie are no longer with us. William Friedkin died a couple years ago. William Peter Blatty died. And Jason Miller died. There's not a lot of people that are still alive. Eileen Dietz is, Linda Blair, Ellen Burstyn, but it's just it's tough when these movies from the past, which we love, we want to be able to still like think we can talk to the people involved.
Will live on forever.
Of course. But like, and they've done multiple documentaries, and the impact, like we said, that it's had on people, that lives forever, and the movie lives forever. It's just sad because you want to be able to think like, oh, could we, interview, especially being part of a podcast where we do talk to people from movies. It's like, would we have wanted to talk to William Friedkin? Of course. Would we love to talk to Linda Blair? Maybe we'll get the opportunity.
You mean Reagan McNeil? She's right here. What do you want to know?
She's right here, yeah. But I mean, like, okay, a question for you, Tim. Do you think, like, Gen Z young people will still find The Exorcist as effective as people in our generation?
If they look at it through 1973 eyes, absolutely. If they look at it through 2026 eyes, no.
And it's tough because how do you look at something through eyes of a year that you weren't a part of? It's
maybe
tough.
It will work if you never have seen a movie. And, and your parents leave you home alone at night and it's like midnight. They will be scared.
I just think, and this is something I've talked about with Jacob, is that if and when we have kids, I feel like the way I want to introduce them to horror is not by starting by showing them recent movies, by starting by showing them past movies so they can appreciate the slow burn effects of truly building suspense before you see the craziness of nonstop action thrillers of today. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so true that so I'm glad you brought that up because I remember in 1996, Scream was huge, obviously. And then they had a screening of Halloween at I remember it was 9:00 screening of Halloween, and I dragged all my friends, and they were like, "This is slow. This is boring. When can we go?"
I see. I hate that being. Oh God,
I know. So I was like, "You guys, it was 1978."
I know, and I also saw it right because I had seen a couple horror movies for Halloween, but because I saw Halloween so young, that determined my taste for horror and what I loved, and I loved suspense building and stuff. But if, let's say, my first film was Terrifier 3,
and that is a huge possibility for some people out there.
That's what I mean. If you're seeing crazy effects and gore, and that's how you get used to horror, and then you see The Exorcist, you're going to be like, oh, so she turned her head around, or there's pea soup, big deal. But you start with that kind of stuff, and you learn to appreciate it. Then you start to evolve your taste and see more recent stuff. I just feel like that's a better way to introduce horror to people. I am not a professor or even a parent,
Maybe
but that's how I want to
be.
do it. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, you know what, Tim? A couple things. Before we go, I want to see if I can exorcise this demon out. Okay, first I am going to hold up the rosary. I'm so bad at this, and again, I'm going to hold up and I'm going to say, "The power of Christ compels you." No, you have to react to the holy water.
Oh, ouch, it's burning me.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Ouch. Oh, yes. Oh, the demon's inside me. Ouch. Okay, but Tim, and then...
do you want me to turn my head around?
Okay, yes, do it.
Okay, here
ready?
we go. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. Tim, how did you do that? We've got great effects.
We do.
Anyway, thank you everyone for watching this. Just want to, wish everyone involved in the history of this show happy 300th episode. Tim, thank you for doing this with me for so long. Thank you to Jacob and Paris for everything that you do. 300 episodes is crazy. We're so happy. We're so grateful for all the support we've received from all of you watching, and we hope you have a happy horror time.
Happy horror time.
Bye. The power of Christ compels you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Happy Horror Time.
Happy Horror Time is co-hosted by myself, Matt Emmerd, and Tim Murdoch. It's produced by Jacob Randall and Paris Mance. If you'd like to support our show, you can sign up to be a patron starting at just $1 a month at www.patreon.com/happyhorrortime. $5 patrons get access to all our bonus content, including 2 new bonus episodes every month, our monthly after show mini episode, audio commentaries, access to our Discord to chat directly with us, and even the chance to review a film with us in a bonus episode.
Patrons also get all our regular episodes ad-free and a day early. our monthly newsletter, the chance to vote in polls, and autographed Happy Horror Time stickers.
I'm Matt Emmert.
And I'm Tim Murdoch.
And we hope you have a happy horror time.